Hello friends, welcome to the channel. If today is your first time visiting with us, we want to extend you a very warm welcome and invite you to visit our over 300 videos, as we are very confident that you're going to find something you enjoy and also find it useful for your day-to-day do-it-yourself projects. If you've been here before but you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do subscribe and also press the bell icon so you will be notified every time we post a new video, which is usually the midweek and the weekends. If today is your birthday, we want to extend you a very happy birthday. So stick around and see what we have let's try that again. So stick around and see what we have in store for you today. Alright friends, one of the most critical components in your car arsenal are your brakes. So today we're going to talk about brakes and how to repair your own brake lines, which is one of the most commonly points of failure, because automakers in their infinite wisdom, this is a brake line, make brake lines out of steel which corrodes, right? And then they put this brake line under the vehicle. Do you see a problem with that design?
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know, steel and water and chemicals on the ground and salt, I don't know.
And this looks almost decent, but this is what it looks when it starts leaking.
Hold on.
Was it going too fast?
Well, let's just see if we can bring this nice rusty piece of metal into focus. That's all.
I don't know if you can see the hole or not, but
Hold on.
there is a hole here.
Yeah, let's see. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Nice hole. So,
That is our hole.
Yeah. So tell them what happened when we got this hole.
You got the hole like this and you lose your brakes.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff.
All the brake fluid drains out and whew.
So this is a job that you can do yourself, but you will need some very inexpensive tools.
But they're specialized tools.
They're specialized tools, you cannot do it without them. And they're called flaring tools, right? You like my organization?
Excellent. Everything's labeled. They learned all about the labeling.
So, most of you will probably have one of those, and this is a tube cutter. And this will cut any kind of coal. Usually, we have used it in the past to cut copper tubing. And we found out that in steel, it cuts it, but it takes a little longer, right?
Right. The copper is very soft. The steel is harder, so it will take you longer to get through the pipe.
But it will get through the pipe, and you want something like this that can go to a very small diameter. Otherwise, you won't be able to cut it. And let me show you what I mean. I should have brought that. Don't say anything.
No, I don't know.
No,
Preparation.
don't say anything.
We'll just show the tools on the counter here.
No, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that you told me.
I did. I said,
Don't say anything.
do you have everything you need? Wow.
Some of these types sometimes will end before you can close it on the pipe. And definitely the ones that are circular, that the zero clearance, are specific to a diameter style. Now this one actually would do it, but it wouldn't do it under the car, which where we were when we had to cut it, right?
Right.
Because of the size of this, we just could not do it under the vehicle. Would you agree?
Yeah, that would have been very prohibitive.
So you will need something like that. And again, I would think most people will have a tool like that, don't you think?
If you've done a little bit of DIY plumbing type stuff, then yes, but otherwise, not necessarily.
This is a common flaring tool, and it has different diameters that you can work with. And this has the same problem that this has. When you're here on the bench, it works fantastically, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're under the car, that becomes a little more problematic, right?
Yeah, because the space you're working in is only a few inches, maybe.
And the way that tool works, it has a second part, and you can make a flare using this tool. Now I don't know how to focus this, but this is a 45-degree flare, and this is not what you need for brakes. However, it will work in many applications. But why it will not work for brakes? Brake lines in a domestic car can go anywhere from 500 to 1500 psi, and I would not trust this at 1500 psi, would you?
No.
So you need what is called a double flare, and what you don't need is a compression fitting, and I will show you what it is. Unfortunately, car stores sell those, and they're very much like the, let's find the compression part that I dropped. They're very much like, you want to do it here? Well, compression fittings for your home. There, it's good, right? Good or not, go a little higher.
Okay, yeah. Oops. Well, the camera has a mind of its own, but it's kind of in focus there. There we go.
So the way you do it, you put the fitting here. Actually, you put the fitting on the line first. Well, no, you actually put you put that there. You put the compression fitting on the line, and then you make the union. Now this is easy, and
Again, on the bench, it's totally easy.
well, even under the car, this will be the easiest way to do it. But a compression fitting will probably not provide the strength that you need at 1500 psi, especially if you brake hard.
Okay.
In most states, including our state, these are illegal for brake work, right?
Okay.
What is legal, however, are flaring unions, and they look similar. They look like this.
Okay.
But they're designed for a flare. I don't know if you can see it there.
Yep. Perfect. Yep. And the flare provides that lip that presses up against the inside of the
Right.
fitting.
Now, some people will use a 45-degree flare like what we saw you, but in order to be safe, you need what's called a double flare, or the European car use something that's called a bubble flare. So we're going to show you that. Okay, we need a couple of... So this is the second type of flaring tool, and this is the one that we're going to use under the car. And it breaks into two pieces so you can insert the tube, and then you're using an Allen wrench to release it and tighten it. Where did we put the die? Here. You use the die, and you need to make sure that your, what do you call that, that the tube protrudes the same amount as that die, right?
Okay. So the top of your tubing is level with the piece of the die where it has a flare.
Yeah,
tip.
then you turn the die over and you insert it into the tube.
And our tube happens to be 3/16,
Most cars are 3/16, but you have to check on your car.
and this fits that exactly.
Where is it here?
Which thing?
Then you take the second part, you back this off because you don't want to hit the die yet. And you hand tight this. This does not need to be really hard tied. Then you hand tight this. At this stage, which direction is the?
It says tight on it. There you go. And you're supposed to do all this while you're under the car.
Yes.
So you need to be an octopus is really the message here.
Let me tell you, it's much easier than doing this under the car.
I know, but apparently you need to be an octopus to be able to do that.
I think we put that the wrong way because it wasn't sitting.
Well,
Maybe we won't use this one.
that's the one we have that goes through. They just don't want to lock in place, or maybe we just...
Well, we have other ones. How deep is it going to go?
So you tighten it until it stops?
Yes, but you don't need to over tighten it. Untighter tightening and under tightening. Oh, that's annoying. We're not going to use this one under the car.
Well, maybe we just need to figure out how to get it to sit in there.
No, we have other ones. We don't need to use this one.
So now you're disassembling.
Right, and we should have the beginning of the flare.
Okay.
You see now it is compressed in. Do you see it?
Yep.
So now you put that again without the die.
Without that small
Right.
die that fit inside the pipe.
And
It should thread easily as long
right,
as
do not double thread it.
it's threaded correctly.
What size was that, do you remember? Alright. It's again the same thing. The problem with this is that it's too big, isn't it?
That wrench?
Yeah.
So a pair of pliers might be more beneficial at that point than trying to use a ginormous wrench.
Yeah, but you don't want to damage it. Is that going down?
Yeah, because you're doing the righty-tighty.
This is where my having a weak left hand doesn't work very well, guys. I apologize. And it stops. And the moment it stops, you stop. You don't need to over tighten this. Does it make sense? So now we have to. Oh, for crying out loud.
So now you want to back it off and release it.
Right. And releasing it is easy, as you see. It's just
And the only reason for the big wrench to hold, is to hold that in place so that you don't strain your fingers trying to turn against it.
and now we should have a double flare. It is in there, so I don't think you can see it. So I'm going to try to take it out. Do you like how I said try? Cannot see it very well, but
No, we're going to put it on the bench again
okay.
so I can focus it.
Stop. And this is our double flare. Again, this is not the cleanest piece of metal, so it's not as visible as we would like it to be. It was clear.
Okay.
One of the things that you will do when you are under the vehicle is that you have to clean it, actually using a little bit of sandpaper or something like that, so all the surfaces are nice and clean. But we have to make 2 of those under the car, and that would be a lot of fun, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so we made a nice mess out here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being under the truck in close spaces doing that. Really am.
I know you are.
I really am.
I know you cannot wait.
Right. Well, whether I can wait or not, we have to do it soon. The sick bay needs to be changed out.
Okay, so we'll be right back with you.
Okay, so I'm under the truck. Just there is the gas tank itself. You can see that cut line. It's a little hard to get the right light under here, but that cut line is the brake line where we cut it toward the back. And then it's a pretty good section here. We had to come up here and cut it, and there's the other end. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it. And then this other little piece here rolling is our new one. We were trying to make sure we cut it to the correct length. And the spot where we are, there's this ginormous bracket here. And we're about halfway between the front and rear tire, this section. You can see where some of the brake stuff had been spraying, and then you can also see this spot. Well, maybe that wasn't it spraying, but anyway, you can see this spot is where it sprung the leak, right around where this pipe is, and you can see the wetness. From that brake fluid. So that's the section we're trying to replace. And if I can get a little bit closer on that line, you can see it's between a bracket here, part of the body frame. And I would say it's about 6 to 7 inches wide between the top and the bottom of the bracket. That's where we have to work, and it's only a couple inches deep there. But again, when you're working with that, you want to make sure you're not yanking on the remainder of your brake line and messing it up too much. But that's the space we're going to be working in when we do those double flares on either end there. And then again, up in here. That's where the second one is. And then the other piece should just fit right in there. The fittings will screw together, and hopefully that will be all we need.
Alright friends, I hope you enjoyed this short episode and it was useful to you. A word of caution, if you're not comfortable working on your own brakes, please don't do it. Failure of the brakes can be deadly. Even though modern cars have redundant systems, for example, even though you saw under the car that we lost completely this hydraulic line, the car could still stop, but not as effectively, right? There is what?
Just move out of the shadow. There you go.
There is a redundancy built in the system, so you need to lose both sides of the braking system to lose completely the brakes, and then if your car has an emergency brake, you can also stop with that emergency brake. But because of the high pressure of the system, and this tool, while great, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I would recommend to do some practice cuts in a spare. I mean, we're using our old line to do those practice cuts, but definitely,
Flares.
huh?
And practice flares.
And practice flares. You start by cutting the line, and in our experience, that just took longer than we were used to, because in the past we've only cut copper lines. Do not use copper lines, even if they are 3/16. They simply do not have the strength to hold the pressure of a brake system. Now there are alternatives that they are acceptable, and talk to your local parts store about those, and also talk to your Department of Motor Vehicles to learn what is legal and is not legal in your state. In our state it is legal to create a join of cars, and we didn't show you the full join, but this goes in, right?
You can't. Oh, you might be able to do it on this side.
What?
I was just thinking you had the one that had both ends flared, but you didn't.
It has both ends flared. That was our practice piece, so
No, the practice piece is in the vise behind you.
another practice piece with rest. So as you can see, it has two fittings. So The one that we have the extension already has a flare and it's going to go this way. Actually, we don't need the fitting, right? It has a fitting already because you cannot put a fitting. So this creates the union between the 2 points. And of course, you need to make sure that there is no leak and bleed your brakes after you do this job. So from the Garage Wizard, Elpida, and the Urban Homesteading channel, we hope this was a useful video for you, and we're going to see you soon with another video. Bid you well.